Hey there, YouTube. thedarkcreator252 here. Going to bring you a ban list prediction. Considering it's 30th of July, ban list will be announced probably in a couple, maybe 3 weeks. So I thought I'd give you my prediction. There's a difference. I mean, there's two sorts of lists going around. There is like the list on like things like Ultra Reality Games, where they're giving a list of what should happen to try and clear up the game, and then there are actual predictions. This is going to be a prediction. This is what I think really probably stands a good chance of happening. So I'll go through it quickly. I'll stop moaning. So right, to start with, banned wind up hunter. The wind up loop is stupid, but wind ups in general are good. So I think if you just take out hunter, then wind ups is still a good, consistent Xyz deck. So just get rid of hunter, stop the loop, but they'll still be playable. Sangan. I think Sangan's time has come. I think he's slightly too good. The ability to search so many cards in the game at the moment, I think he's just crossed the line. That's my opinion. I mean, if you have your own opinion, then feel free to comment below. But that's my opinion. Future Fusion. There's a debate over to whether ban Five-Headed Dragon or this. I just think you should ban this because it's also very good in Heroes when the Dark Hero comes out, Elemental Hero Escriado or something like that, because you can spam it with like Blackwing Zephyros and stuff like that. So it'd still be a good card. But I guess you could take out Five-Headed Dragon because that would do exactly the same thing. I'm just thinking slightly into the future. Um, Future Fusion, that was a good pun. Anyway, Blackluster Soldier, I despise this card. The amount of times it makes game state unfair. The amount of times you're winning the top deck Blackluster Soldier and turn the whole thing round when you really should have been winning. You had everything in control, and they top deck this and you lose because of this card. I think it should go. I don't like it. Um, I mean, it's obviously if you're using it, then it's great. But as an opponent, from an opponent's point of view, I don't like this card. So I think it should probably creep back onto the ban list. Also, Bryanak, I really don't want this to happen, but I think it possibly could. It's not quite broken on its own. It's just the fact that you can make it really easily with the upcoming Atlantean support. Well, yeah, the Atlantean cards, and the fact that you can abuse stuff. It's not broken on its own, like I said, but I don't want this to happen. I love the card, but again, from an opponent's point of view, when they make this, it's really hard to stop it, and it can be very, very annoying if they sort of lock you down when you're trying to set a monster. So yeah, I think that could get banned, but it could stay at one. I really want it to stay at one. Okay, to go to one, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. I don't think they should touch Chaos Dragons other than this card, for the simple fact that the deck isn't showing as much as it was when it won, when it did well at those two YCSs on the trot, like Toulouse and the other one I can't remember, the one in America. And also Heretics, obviously Gustav Max is going to be stupid, so I think they should just put this to one. I'd be surprised if they didn't put it to one. Final Countdown, I think this should either get put to one or be banned altogether because the card is so irritating. It's annoying and I don't like it. I've never really played the deck, but I've never really picked it up and tried it, but I can see it being very annoying. I've played against it a couple of times, and yeah, it's just no. I think it could get banned, but that's unlikely. I'd say if anything, it's going to go to one, but it hasn't had as much of an impact to get touched. But this is more of a card that I'd like than what I think. Space Typhoon, I think. Hold on, I'll put it there. I'll do Sinister Serpent first. Sinister Serpent, I think they should come to one. The card is not broken anymore. What are you going to run that will abuse this thing? Apart from Bryanak, which, if all this list goes correctly, is going to get banned anyway. I think Sinister Serpent does have a place in this game, and it won't be used. It might be used in like stun decks with, I don't know, like Raigeki breaks and Phoenix Wind Blasts. Other than that, I mean, the reason why it was so good was in like Go Control type formats with Tribe Inflicting Virus and stuff. And now he's gone. I think Sinister Serpent is really not broken. Yes, it's a Treeborn Frog for your hand, but Treeborn Frog gets you field presence. This doesn't. It just gets you a +1, even though it's a small monster and it's sitting in. I could see potentially having use in like a ritual deck, but it's a 1 star, so it'd be pointless. Yeah, Space Typhoon. I think they should go to 2, maybe even 1, because I'd say it means it. If this goes to like 1 or 2, it means that you're not going to get punished for doing the correct play, for going like down like 2 cards, because basically what happens is you've got some back row in your hand, and if you put 1 down, you get MST'd. This is the annoying thing. And then if you put 3 down, trying to reduce the chances of an MST, you get stormed. And I really hate that fact. You get punished for doing the right thing. So I think Space Typhoon should just, I don't know, it's just slightly too quick. I think Tornado is better because obviously it's not as quick. It's not where you can remove stuff instantly. Because Tornado, you'd have to sit on it for a turn. Whereas this, you just pop anything and everything. Or Night Beam. Night Beam, if this went to 1, Night Beam might see a bit more play, but then it might not, so I don't know. And this is like the only viable way to get rid of Royal Decree, because Tornado doesn't work under Royal Decree, and Night Beam won't take out Royal Decree. Yeah. And I like the card Royal Decree. Insector Dragonfly, I think out of the 3 Insectors, this should be touched. I think it probably will be, because I think Insectors are going to get hit quite heavily on this ban list just because of their presence in the OCG. Because Konami give more of a shit about the OCG than they do for the TCG, so I think Dragonfly will get put to 1. It would slow the deck down. It would still make the deck playable with like spamming Ladybug and running the Hornet still, but it would slow it down enough that it's fair and it's not stupid. Rescue Rabbit to 2. That should have gone there really. Rescue Rabbit to 2. The card on its own is not broken. It's the fact that you can Xyz with it and make stuff that it is broken, like the Verse cards and the Evolzar cards. So I think Rabbit should go to 2. It just slow the Dying Rabbit down a bit, and my next choice would do exactly the same thing. It'd mean that the deck is easily still playable, but it's not top tier. Well, it could be, I don't know. Tour Guide to 2. I think this means that you could just run 2 Tour Guides, and with Sangan getting banned, you could just run 2 Tour Guides with the intention of going 1 into the other. So I think if Tour Guide went to 2, again, it would reduce the chances of you opening Rabbit first turn and Tour Guide second turn and just winning there, because obviously they'd be both at 2. I think I'd be surprised if one of those 2 choices didn't happen. 2 of them possibly. I don't know whether they'll touch Tour Guide. If they're going to touch Sangan, they might just choose to not touch Tour Guide, considering they're still trying to promote X-seizing. They kind of want the game to go that way. For a similar reason, well, not for a similar reason, for the opposite reason, I guess, Spore should come to 3. Obviously, the fact that they're promoting X-seizing, you might think, well, no. But Spore, because you can only play it once, a bit like Glow Ball, because you can only play it once per duel, having it at 1 is basically exactly the same as having it at 3, because people used to only run 1 anyway, so there's no point in limiting it. And Spore now, because there isn't as much, because of Bull being gone and Lone Fire at 1, there isn't as much plant support, and I think Plant need a viable tuner if the Giga Plant stuff is going to go their way, so I think Spore should go back to 3. Marshmallow, considering Reaper is probably better than Marshmallow, and Reaper's at 3, I think Marshmallow could come back to 3. Primal Seed is stupid. I don't know why it's even at 1, because yes, it's a good card if you pull it off, but if this is banned, then there's absolutely no reason at all to have it on the list. Summoner Monk to 3. I don't see why you would discard a spell card and then get potentially Veilered, considering most decks are running 2 to 3 Veilers nowadays. I think Summoner Monk does not need to be at 2 anymore, particularly with Cat now banned. And Transmigration Prophecy, this really doesn't need to be at 1. It can be at 3 because it's like a bad Pot of Avarice, and Pot of Avarice is at 1 as well. I could see its merits, but then again, there's no reason at all. Oh yeah, and I forgot about the last card. Lagia, I want to put that to 1. Same reason why they put Shen to 1. I really don't want them to, because if you know my channel, you'll know that I'm an avid Evolzar player, Evolsaur player. So I wouldn't like them to touch it, but I have an inkling that they could. But then again, Shien was used in the correct deck, if you know what I mean by correct, whereas Lagia was used in a spam build of it, where you just like spam it, you don't use it in evols. If evols were tier 1 and they were spamming Lagia, I could definitely see it being put to 1. But because evols use it as well, there could be a potential that Konami might not want to touch it. But even so, if they didn't want to touch it, then this could probably go to 1. But yeah, I'm just rambling on it now. I think Lagia should go to 1, but I don't want it to. Well, I think it could, but I don't want it to. So that's my roundup of my ban list predictions. Please give me any input. What do you think? I'd love to have a discussion with you. I think I might be quite accurate on a few of those, particularly with stuff like this, and either Future Fusion or 5-headed. I'd be surprised if none of those got touched. I think those two alone would slow down Chaos Dragons. So thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and leave your feedback down below. Thanks, guys.